Imagine a young woman sitting in a cold, dark room inside the Tower of London. Outside the window, the shadow of the executioner's axe lingers over the courtyard. She is 20 years old. Her mother was beheaded by her father. Her sister, the Queen, has imprisoned her, suspecting her of treason. Every person she meets is a potential spy. Every letter she receives could be a death warrant. In this environment of total isolation and mortal fear, she has no one to lean on, no one to trust, and no world to call her own. This woman was Elizabeth Tudor, before she became the legendary Virgin Queen who presided over England's golden age. She was a woman forged in the fires of solitude. While most people view being alone as a state of weakness or a social failure, Elizabeth discovered that solitude is the ultimate laboratory of sovereignty. She learned that to rule a nation, one must first learn to rule the chaotic territory of one's own heart. Her story is not just about a monarch. It is a timeless manual on how to find mastery and control when the world expects you to depend on others. Elizabeth's early life was a masterclass in intuition and survival. Because she spent her youth under the constant threat of death, she developed a level of self-awareness that was nearly supernatural. She learned the art of silence, realizing that the less she said, the more power she held. In an age where women were seen as mere pawns in political marriages, Elizabeth saw a different path. When she finally ascended the throne, the first thing her advisors did was pressure her to marry. They believed a woman was incomplete without a king to guide her. But Elizabeth understood a profound truth. To give away her hand was to give away her autonomy. She famously declared that she was married to England. This was not just a political slogan, it was a spiritual boundary. By choosing to stand alone, she transformed her loneliness into a fortress. She realized that solitude is not the absence of people, but the presence of oneself. While her ministers argued and foreign kings plotted, Elizabeth retreated into her inner citadel. She listened to everyone, but she obeyed only her own conscience. This is the essence of true control, the ability to stay centered while the opinions of others swirl around you like a storm. One of the most powerful moments in her reign came during the threat of the Spanish Armada. As the greatest navy in the world approached English shores, terror gripped the land. Her generals were uncertain. Her people were afraid. Elizabeth did not hide in her palace. She rode out to Tilbury, dressed in white with a silver breastplate, and stood before her army. She told them, "I know I have the body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king." In that moment, her resilience became the nation's strength. She proved that one person standing firmly in their own truth can change the vibration of an entire society. Elizabeth's mastery came from her ability to handle ambiguity. She rarely gave a straight yes or no until she was ready. She played the game of tact, with such skill that she kept the most powerful men in Europe waiting for decades. She taught us that you do not owe the world an immediate answer. Your time, your mind, and your decisions are your own. This is a form of healing for the modern soul, the realization that we do not need to be validated by others to be powerful. We do not need a partner, a title, or a crowd to justify our existence. However, the path of the Virgin Queen was not without its shadow. Solitude can be heavy. There were nights when the silence of the palace felt like a prison. She dealt with the pain of betrayal and the grief of aging without an heir. But even in her darkest moments, she practiced the art of detachment. She looked at her life as a performance for God and history. She understood that her purpose was larger than her personal comfort. She chose the silence of the crown over the noise of a compromised marriage. In our world today, we are terrified of being alone. We fill every spare second with digital noise, seeking connection to avoid the discomfort of our own company. We feel anxious if we are not part of a group or if we don't have someone to tell us what to do. But Elizabeth I challenges us to embrace our solitude. She shows us that being alone is where we find our inner voice. It is where we develop the fortitude to make difficult decisions. It is where we discover that we are, in fact, enough. To find your own control today, you must learn to be your own sovereign. Stop looking for someone to save you, to lead you, or to complete you. Build your own inner citadel through self-reflection and discipline. Understand that sovereignty begins with the way you talk to yourself when no one else is listening. When you are comfortable in your own skin, the world loses its power to manipulate you. As you finish this video, take a moment to sit in silence. Do not reach for your phone. Do not look for a distraction. Just be with yourself. Feel the sovereignty of your own breath. You are the ruler of your internal empire. Like Elizabeth, you can face the armadas of your life with the heart of a king or queen. You do not need to be completed by another. You are already a whole world. Stand tall in your solitude. Find the power in your own company. And remember, the greatest ruler is the one who has conquered their own mind.